The night Nia was thrown out of her own home, she was 8 months pregnant. It was raining so hard that she could barely see the road. She stood outside the gate with one small suitcase in her hand, one hand protecting her unborn baby, and tears running down her face. Behind the locked gate stood the woman she had once called her mother. Her stepmother, Vivian. "Don't ever come back," Vivian said coldly through the window. Nia stared at her in disbelief. "But where am I supposed to go?" Vivian didn't answer. Instead, she threw one final envelope onto the wet ground. Nia picked it up with trembling fingers. Inside was a photograph of Marcus. The man she loved. The father of her unborn child. And beneath the photograph was a short note. "Marcus left because he never wanted you or this baby." Nia's heart shattered. She had called Marcus hundreds of times. He never answered. She had sent messages. Nothing. She had waited outside his apartment. He never came. So standing there in the rain, 8 months pregnant and completely alone, Nia finally believed the lie. Marcus had abandoned her. She picked up her suitcase and slowly walked away. She didn't know that the truth was standing only a few feet behind that same locked gate. And she didn't know that the person who had destroyed her life was still holding the secret that would change everything. 4 years passed. Nia lived in a tiny apartment on the other side of the city. She worked 2 jobs. During the day, she cleaned offices. At night, she worked at a small bakery. And every morning, before leaving for work, she kissed her little son, Eli, on the forehead. Eli was 4 years old. He had his mother's gentle eyes. But there was something else about him. A small silver bracelet he wore every day. Nia had never taken it off him. It was the only thing Marcus had ever given their child. Or at least, that was what she believed. One evening, Eli looked at his mother and asked, "Mommy, why don't I have a daddy?" Nia froze. She forced a smile. "Maybe someday you'll understand. But does daddy know about me?" Nia looked away. "Yes. Then why doesn't he come?" That question destroyed her. Nia went into the kitchen so her son wouldn't see her crying. She pressed her hand against her mouth. For 4 years, she had hidden her pain. But that night, she couldn't. The next morning, something unexpected happened. A black luxury car stopped outside the bakery where Nia worked. A man stepped out. He was wearing a dark suit. He looked around the bakery nervously. Then his eyes landed on Nia. He stopped breathing. "Nia." The tray in Nia's hands almost fell. She looked at him. She couldn't move. It was Marcus. The man she had loved. The man she believed had abandoned her. 4 years of anger, pain, and unanswered questions came rushing back. Marcus walked toward her. "Nia, please." She stepped backward. "Don't." His eyes filled with tears. "I've been looking for you." Nia laughed bitterly. "Looking for me?" "Yes. For 4 years." Marcus shook his head. "No. For 4 years, I thought you hated me." Nia stared at him. "What are you talking about?" Marcus reached into his jacket and pulled out an old phone. He opened a message. Nia's face went pale. It was a message she had supposedly sent him 4 years earlier. "Marcus, I don't love you anymore. I'm marrying someone else. Don't ever contact me again." Nia shook her head. "I never sent that." Marcus stared at her. "And I never left you." Silence filled the bakery. Nia's eyes filled with tears. "Then who did this?" Marcus whispered one name. "Vivian." Marcus explained everything. 4 years earlier, he had been working on building his business. He had wanted to marry Nia. He had even bought a ring. But Vivian had discovered that Marcus planned to give Nia a large amount of money to help her leave the toxic household. Vivian wanted that money for herself. So she created a lie. She blocked Marcus's calls. She intercepted his letters. She changed Nia's phone number. And she sent fake messages to both of them. To Marcus, she made Nia look like she had abandoned him. To Nia, she made Marcus look like he had abandoned her. And then she took every dollar Marcus sent for Nia. Nia covered her mouth. 4 years. 4 years of suffering. 4 years of believing the person she loved had betrayed her. All because of one person's greed. But Marcus wasn't finished. "There is something else." He opened his phone again. "I found the bank records." Nia looked at him. "What records?" "The money I sent you." He turned the screen toward her. Every payment was there. Every month. For 2 years. Thousands of dollars. But Nia had never received a single cent. Marcus looked at her with tears in his eyes. "I thought you were living comfortably somewhere with another man." Nia shook her head. I spent 4 years working just to feed our son. Marcus suddenly stopped. Our son. Nia's heart raced. She realized what she had never told him. Marcus. Before she could finish, the bakery door opened. A little boy walked inside. Mommy. Marcus turned. His eyes immediately fell on Eli. The little boy was holding the silver bracelet. Marcus stared at him. Then he looked at Nia. Is that? Nia nodded. Our son. Marcus's knees almost gave way. He slowly walked toward Eli. He didn't touch him. He was afraid. Afraid that if he reached out, this moment might disappear. Eli looked up at him. Who are you? Marcus swallowed his tears. My name is Marcus. Eli smiled innocently. Are you my daddy? Marcus broke. He knelt down and cried. Yes. He couldn't say anything else. Eli hugged him. And for the first time in 4 years, Marcus held his son. But the story wasn't over. Marcus and Nia returned to Vivian's house. Vivian opened the door. When she saw Marcus standing beside Nia and Eli, the color disappeared from her face. Marcus placed the bank records on the table. Then he placed the old messages beside them. You stole from her. Vivian remained silent. You lied to both of us. Still nothing. And you made a child grow up believing his father didn't love him. Vivian finally whispered. I was only trying to survive. Nia looked at her. No. Her voice was calm. You weren't trying to survive. She picked up Eli's hand. You were trying to control my life. Vivian began crying. But Nia didn't scream. She didn't insult her. She simply said, I spent 4 years wishing I had died the night you threw me out. Vivian looked up. But now I'm glad I survived. Nia walked toward the door. Then she stopped. And you know what hurts the most? Vivian said nothing. I didn't need your money. I needed you to believe me. Nia walked away. Months later, Marcus and Nia opened a small family bakery. The same bakery where they had found each other again. On the wall was a photograph of 3 people. Marcus, Nia, and Eli. One evening, Eli sat between them. He looked at the photograph and asked, Daddy, why did it take you so long to find us? Marcus looked at Nia. Then he hugged his son. Because sometimes people build walls between hearts. Eli thought for a moment. Can people break those walls? Marcus smiled. Yes. How? He looked at Nia. With the truth. Nia smiled through her tears. And Eli hugged both of them. 4 years had been stolen from them. But their love had survived. Because sometimes the cruelest lie can separate 2 people for years. But the truth only needs one moment to bring them back together. And sometimes, the person you thought abandoned you, was actually searching for you the entire time.